Hey, it's Mr. Johns. Welcome back to Planet Zoo. No, I'm not driving truck today. I'm not shooting cowboys. I'm not flying an airplane. Not racing a car. I am building a zoo. One of the great things about games, and I've said this before, you can be what you want to be in the gaming world, which is so cool. And by the way, it can transfer over to the real world if you were totally into zoo design, golf course design, architectural design, bridge design, landscaping design. Those are all careers, by the way. And I've always said that games can introduce you to real world hobbies and or careers, for sure. But for most of us, we just get up and pretend we're something for a couple hours. So what I'm pretending today is to be a zoo designer. And you say, wait a minute, this looks a little different today than it did yesterday. Yeah, so I don't know if my entrance works yet. Haven't turned anything on. I mean, there's other than pause, and you can close your entrance. You really can't test it out until you have the zoo ready to go. So that's what I'm working on now. You may see, wait, this isn't a barnyard. Excuse me, this isn't a farm. I changed my mind. I'm thinking if I want the zoo to be, this experience with all these different climates and habitats, which is the whole point of a zoo, what would I really like? What do I really like to see? A Christmas village, at a zoo? Well, sure. So why not, right? So I have these ice paths, which are really cool looking, and I'll change those. I'll make the paths different for different habitats. But over here is this cute little, like, Victorian kind of Christmas street. And at night, all these lights come on, etc., which is really cool. So I love that. It's kind of classic. And then some Christmas trees and some presents, and then this huge tree that lights up at night. Let's see. So getting used to up and down. So Q and E are down, up, and then just the WASD are the normal directions. And then roll your mouse to look up and down. So this really big tree right in the middle, as you come in, a little polar bear statue, and then on the left, another Christmas tree and some large gifts. And then and then the snow. So you can paint grass and dirt and sand, but I thought snow, yes. Well, it turns out you have to have these coolers right here, like everywhere. I don't love how they look, but there's just no way to do it in this climate, right? And I can figure out why isn't my taskbar disappearing? I want that taskbar to go away. Automatically hide. Yes, I said automatically hide, so it's not automatically hiding. Down here you can see the time and the day, and one thing that I wanted to show you is, let's go ahead and make it night. So super, super cool with the Christmas lights. And I'll add more. I'll add some strings of lights, etc. But I just think it's really beautiful. And this could be a really cool place just to hang out. But as an entrance to a zoo, love that. But what about animals, Mr. Johns? What about animals? So I'm still the snow. I have to put more of those coolers in. Like as I paint, I go to terrain, paint, snow, Like I was trying to figure out why it wouldn't stick. And so I thought about it a little bit and thought, well, it's melting as fast as I put it down. It's just too hot. So I had to start putting those coolers down. So I will put them down. So this whole area is, I don't know how big, but is snow. Now the first habitat, this was one that I downloaded. And by the way, downloading a habitat is not just click good and put some animals in. This particular habitat, I did not do it on camera. It came in flat and no water. And so what I had to do is go into the terrain tool. Oh, I'm already on the terrain tool, and push. And I pushed all this down. In fact, I pushed it too wide in a few places right here beyond the outline. It was a little bit hard to get it exact. So right there, it's also, I did the same thing right here, but what I've been doing is, right here in that circle, but I've been moving those rocks back. So can I put penguin? So this is a penguin habitat, king penguin. Can I put penguins in? I like the waterfall over here, by the way. Very cool. And hidden behind the waterfall is a power source, which is malfunctioning. I don't have staff. I really should pause everything. So let's pause it. I don't because I don't have staff. I don't have pathways. I don't have anything yet. So it's probably wise not to just let it run because things wear out. So good to do the design work under pause. So don't forget to hit P for pause. So what I don't know, there's a couple things I don't know. Well, there's a lot I don't know. Okay. Is this, there's a rock just floating. Is this building where they get out of the weather and they hang out? I think so. I think this is their covered now, but why is there an opening here? Like so, and then is there glass in that barrier? It doesn't look like it. So those aren't really windows. Can't penguins just climb and get over these? And then there's all these gaps. So I think there's meant to be a fence around this, and maybe an invisible fence, what's called a knoll fence in Planet Zoo. There are some places there's some toys, there's some sprinklers, some platforms, and probably all the goodies under here, I would hope. Let's see if there's anything. Usually you'll see some some water cleaners. There we go. So this is a feeding box. So sometimes when you download a pre-built, it has pretty much everything you need. But you don't really know until you open it, put animals in it. So what I think I need to do, so that's kind of my entrance, right? So Christmassy Village, I will put Christmas like pine trees everywhere and make this whole first area Christmassy. In addition, I'm thinking right behind this Christmas Village here, maybe this row will be where I start putting in some gift shops, food, drink, etc. So I think what I'm going to do is put the path in front here, and the buildings will sit. I can make that longer so I don't have to click so often. So, and I can add a little bit of curvature, just a little bit of uniqueness to this area. And that's probably good enough for now. And let's make sure that we access that. And hopefully, there we go. It has to connect. Ooh, come on, give me, there we go. Has to be blue. I don't need that side piece though. As long as it's connected, it's fine. I don't love that it added that little extra. I mean, I guess I can click there too. It just adds that. one of the things that's I've talked about this before. The path system is clunky. It's weird, but you just have to deal with it. And if you end up with grass, what you do is you go to terrain, paint, grass short, and just give it a little click. And that will basically make all that long grass disappear. So now I can send even though it doesn't look like it's easy to get in there, but I can send a mechanic in there and he can work on that once it's unpaused. So that's good. As far as balance, this game is all about balance. You have to hire people and you have to assign them to a zone, and every thing has to be in a zone, and that whole part of the game is really cool. I like that part. So okay, let's go to facilities, and then we'll click on staff facilities, and we need one of each of these. Now these don't necessarily have to be Arctic, so what I've been doing is like Arctic or Christmas. The staff is for the whole zoo, so I can use any of these themes. And so, I mean, what I have is themes: African, aquatic, Arctic, Australia, classic, East Asia, Indian, Indonesian, New World, North Africa, or just the Planet Zoo, rustic, South America. Let's see what rustic looks like. There's really nothing there. Let's see what the Planet Zoo buildings look like. Boring, right? Let's see what North Africa looks like. Really cool, but I need something. How about New World? That's probably good. New World would be good. Just something that kind of doesn't have a theme. And so what I need is one of everything. And because I'm on sandbox mode, why not go the biggest, So another thing that is super frustrating unless you know, if you don't know, the rotate key is Z. Click, click, click. Also, if you hold down Z, you can then rotate your mouse and get more specific angles. But if you just click, 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 it goes in 45-degree clicks. Sorry, 90-degree clicks. So what you want to do is find the front of the building, and it's the front of the building when it connects, and it's close enough. See, close enough to the sidewalk, it will connect. So if you want it further back, I'll just have to add my own sidewalk. So does it really matter how far back they are? I don't know. I mean, I want to hide them. You don't want people to see them. So really maybe over here would be the first one. And I can put pine trees and, you can't really see it anyway. That's a staff path. But if you want to find out, you become a person like right here, about the height of a person, and you walk in like this. So I can see that building right there, which isn't great. It's not ugly, but I would just like to hide it. So I'll probably put some trees and things right there. So or even right here, which would help. So you don't even notice that area. Okay. So we have New World Keeper Hut Large. Now that's what it's called. I can click on the pencil and rename it. I don't know if it really matters. So let's go to the next building. New World Quarantine Large. And if it's not connecting, let's rotate it. Make sure we're at the front, which is right there. I think of this as like Sun Valley here in Idaho. The people who work at Sun Valley have like a village where they live, and it's kind of a cool hangout place. I always think that the staff deserves that. So I'm going to decorate all this stuff later. With trees and flowers, etc. They should have a hangout place. I mean, just make it the way you would want to if you were working here, right? How would you want it to look? So I'm just going to Z around, and I'm going to put them about the same distance apart. I mean, I could get a little more creative, probably. We want this to look like a little village, but that's fine. So that's a research center. If you're not sure, just click on it. Research Center Large. So there's always a large, a small. Staff room. That's a cool building. Rotate around. That is really a cool building. This I'd like to have maybe just a little bit more room around it. This is where we want them to hang out. I think I might even have some like outdoor eating areas and some play things. Things for them to do. which is cool. So that's important. So that's the new Staff World Large, Staff Room Small, New World Trade Center. There's not a large one. There's just this. It's very small. So zip it around. Try to make it about the same distance as the other side, about boink, about there. That's the Trade Center, right? Just make sure Trade Center. So Trade Center. Next is Vet Surgery. Rotate around. We'll just go ahead and go about the same distance the other buildings were apart, right about there. And then we've got Workshop. And there we have it. So there is our little staff village. Because I made it so wide, it does mean I need to put more trees in. Because over here, there's going to be another habitat. And so we want to make sure we have a wall or we hide the staff buildings. But I like the New World design. I think that's really cool. It's kind of like in the mountains, kind of rustic. So very cool. And it's not a specific theme. So I think it's a good start. I think it's a fun start. Now that I have the staff buildings in, you'll notice now I can click on Animal Trading. And I can do a search for King Penguin. And I can adopt them, and I have the option to buy or use conservation credits. Now, this game is all about education, and so you'll learn a lot about conservation. Some of the animals, like this one says, if you adopt it for cash, you can't release it to the wild. Now, why that is, I have a feeling it's like you go to a breeder and you buy a penguin, and they really don't want you to do that. Penguins should be in zoos. So if you use conservation points, see, this is a customs seizure. It even tells you where they got it, whereas this one says it was a pet. So interesting, right? Now, here's another one that's a custom seizure, but you have to buy it with cash. The ones that you can use conservation points for, which is the leaf, you can release it to the wild, and it adds to the population of penguins. And so that's the conservation, that's the education part of the game. And so they're trying to teach you, like, if you can adopt it with points, right? Now, the nice thing is I'm in sandbox mode, so it doesn't matter. I've got as much points as I need. So I'll try to always use that option. But I just bought a male, and I also need a female about the same age, so or a little bit younger. So I'll just go ahead and choose this one and adopt it. So what that does is it puts them in the quarantine building. So they have to make sure it's healthy and do a little checkup. That's what they're doing. In the meantime, what I can do is click on, let me focus here. I don't want to go to animal storage. What I want to do is look at the information about this animal. So how do I do that? I'm going to click. I'm going to click on Zoopedia. That's where I was looking. It's Zoopedia, and it doesn't know that I'm thinking King Penguin, so I have to look it up again. And here we go, King Penguin. It'll give you information about it, and then natural habitat, where it comes from, and the temperature that it needs to be. Species data. This is the stuff you need to pay attention to. Group size 6 to 500. So, holy cow, man. So they can fill a huge area. So they're happiest if they have at least 6. So that's what you need to know. So I just bought 2. Now, if they have babies, 4, then we'll be good. But if they don't have babies quickly, they'll be unhappy until they get up to 6. That's important to know. So equal number males and females, no dominance on either side. They are monogamous, so that means they stay together. They mate for life. All mature offspring are tolerated in the group. They're confident with humans. Guests can just walk right into the habitat because they're cool with people. So it talks about how big they are, how long they live, and all that good stuff. So this stuff is the research status, what kind of food they need, what kind of habitat enrichments they need. A lot of those things are already in that habitat that I downloaded. And then food enrichments. And I know there's already a fish feeder box down there. So there's some fun facts, which are interesting. And then penguins don't benefit from sharing with anybody. They just want to be in their own space. I know that one thing that's important is the size. So pay attention here in this game right here. They have to be in an area that is at least 2153 square feet, 2,153 square feet. And once you build a fence, you can find out that information and make sure it's big enough. They don't care about climbing. They do need 1,550 square feet of water, and I think most of this is water. And then deep water has to be at least 926 square feet deep. Okay, so that I don't know. But you can, I mean, I should have probably figured that out. And then temperature. So we've got -4 to 63 Fahrenheit. They can pretty much handle just about any temperature. They don't love it hot, though. They don't love it hot, 63 degrees. So I'm going to have to make sure I keep this area cool because I'm not in a cold climate. My snow is melting. And then here is the next thing I probably need to know because this is what I'm doing next. I need to have a grade 2 fence that is at least 4.95 feet tall. So grade 2 and 5 feet tall, that's important. So these little buggers don't get out. All right, well, I'm going to not torture you any longer. Thanks for joining me today. I've got work to do, but I'm close. Once I get this in, put the water back in, I can take those 2 penguins out of quarantine, plop them in, and then we'll make sure that they're happy with the habitat and everything's working. And we need to hire staff and get a vet assigned and a keeper, all that stuff. So this is just for one habitat in Planet Zoo. So, but I'm not going to finish this. I'm not going to continue until I finish the Christmas Village area and the penguin habitat and hiring the staff. Those are my next 3 goals. Come back, visit the zoo. I don't have a name for it. I'm calling it zoo for now. I'm trying not to get attached to it. Don't give it a name if you don't want to be attached to it. And if I have to take it out back and shoot it behind the barn, then I won't cry. I'll catch you next time. And on that note, I'll catch you next time. For now, Mr. Johns is out.